So we've travelled up to the north of the island to Ardnahoe, which is Isle's newest distillery, and it is situated in the most stunning surroundings. I mean, look at that across the Sound of Isle to Jura. And we're about to have a chat with Andrew Laing, who's the export director of Hunter Laing, which is the company that owns the distillery here. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time out of a super busy day to chat to us.
Not at all, thank you for coming and seeing us.
Brilliant. So we've asked loads of people on Twitter and Instagram what they want to ask you.
Yep.
And first up, we've got a guy called Stanley on Twitter. He wants to know simply, what sets Ardnahoe apart from other Islay distilleries?
What sets us apart? First of all, we want to produce a classic Islay whisky. So we are within the kind of Islay sphere, the Islay setting. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel in that sense. What sets us apart? Well, we're a small family-owned operation for a start. Some of the other distilleries are much bigger than us. Ardnahoe is quite small, we're under 1 million litres of capacity. In terms of uniqueness of our operation, we're producing everything that we produce is designed to be drunk as a single malt. Very slow distillation, kind of quality over quantity in terms of the production processes. And the unique factor would be probably the worm tub condensers that we have, which, although we're the most recent distillery on Islay, is probably the most traditional kind of piece of kit that you might see that isn't in operation in too many distilleries anymore, and unique on Islay.
Amazing. And that actually leads on perfectly to our next question. Quite a few people wanted to know why worm tub condensers when you could just put in shell and tube.
Yeah, and wonderful, excellent whiskies are made from shell and tube condensers, but we spoke to a lot of people when we were designing Ardnahoe, and we kind of came to the conclusion that there may be, or there probably is, a benefit to the texture of the whisky, and potentially the complexity and the character that comes from installing and using worm tub condensers rather than the shell and tube. So we thought, even if it's only a 1% difference, we want that extra 1%. So we put in the extra investment, because it is an extra investment, to install worm tub condensers, and we're pretty happy with the results they're producing so far. So only time will tell, though, of course, and we'll never know what Ardnahoe would have tasted like with shell and tube condensers in operation, because we've used worm tubs from the start. But there you go. That's why we didn't want to take any chances with quality.
Yeah, it'd be a bit tricky to do a compare and contrast
experiment. It would be impossible.
A bit expensive as well. Great. And probably the biggest question we had, loads of people ask us, was what kind of whiskey are you aiming for? What's the profile going to be like?
Yep, absolutely. We're aiming for a typical Islay style of whiskey, a classic Islay style. So we're using malt from the wonderful Port Ellen maltings, 40 parts per million peat phenols within the malt itself. So it's within that kind of heavily peated classical Islay style in terms of what's going in. We're looking for a fruity style, fruity characteristic, fairly long fermentation times to achieve that, and then the kind of extra complexity and hopefully a nice texture in the final spirits coming from the worm tub condensers. And so far in the new make, we're getting all of that, and we're pretty happy with the new make. It's a nice fruity, quite a lot of pear flavours coming through, a bit of lemon, and that peat smoke, not overpowering, but very much present and very Islay.
Amazing. How long have you actually been producing for now?
For about 6 months now.
Wow,
so
cool.
We've got some spirit that's, I guess, 5 or 6 months old now, and even that, we're quite happy with how that's developing in the casks. We're using mostly first fill bourbon casks and some first fill sherry casks as well, and we're very happy with the results so far. But it's a long road.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. And last but not least, kind of an insider top tip for anyone visiting Islay. Where's your favourite place to go for a dram on the island?
Favourite place? I've got to say, I've got to do a bit of self-promotion here. Ardnahoe Distillery. We've got a wonderful bar, cafe. We're standing here on the terrace of the said cafe bar at the moment. It's tremendous views out towards the Sound of Islay and to the Paps of Jura. We've got a great selection of whiskies and rums, indeed, from the Hunter Laing stock list, from our price list. We've got well over 100 different whiskies and rums to try, including our latest Scarabus release, which we released on Islay just last week. So that would be number one place. Number two would probably be the Ballygrant Inn.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which is not very far from here.
Yeah.
We're regular customers. Tremendous selection of whiskies there. So that'd be.
Been lucky to go in there a couple of times, and it is phenomenal.
So come and visit Ardnahoe and stop off there on the way back.
Perfect. That sounds like a day out ready planned.
There you go.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrew.
That's all. Thank you, Chrissy.